Board event tonight in executive session. We're now ready to go forward with the public portion of our meeting. Before I turn it over to our friends from the Kiwanis, who will be speaking in just a moment, the governor's budget speech is tomorrow. According to the phone call that I was participating in today, he will say that he is making a $200 million investment in K-12 education. He also will be looking to keep his campaign promise to expand pre-K in New Jersey. 48 hours after 2 o'clock tomorrow, we get our state aid numbers. So we will be able to plug those into our district budget going forward. As all of you know, in New Jersey, the governor proposes a budget, the legislature that takes it up. They have until June 30th to come up with a final state budget. It is always an exercise in interesting politics. So we will, but most likely, our state aid numbers, once we have them, will stay the same. We received a bump in state aid last year. If it goes according to the plan outlined in S2, which was a vital piece of formula-related legislation passed last year, we should receive another slight jump in our state aid. So fingers crossed. And now I will turn it over. We have friends here tonight from the Kiwanis Club who want to talk. The Kiwanis Club is a service organization in town, a great donor to the schools. So please introduce yourselves and you have the floor.
Cool, thank you.
Yes, that's fine.
So you can sit for a while. I have two P clubbers with me, and I'll go beyond it after 1 minute. So I'm Jeff Monticelli. I've lived in town for more than 40 years. I've been in Kiwanis for more than 40 years. My wife sat on that board where you are for about 6 years in the 90s, a long time ago when we were old. So what I wanted to do tonight is just quickly, I wanted to have you understand what Kiwanis' focus is. And then within Kiwanis, we support the Key Club, which is our major youth organization. And it's very important to us, and I want to let you know how important it was. And we think it's very important to the community. So just to give you a perspective, the Kiwanis model is serving the children of the world. And so underneath that model is almost everything that we do. So within the school system, within Kiwanis, we support. So Kiwanis has about 600,000 members and have 80 plus countries. It spends about 20 million hours per year serving children. And that 20 million hours, most of it is spent in two different ways. One is we have clubs in the school. You see three of them. The three of them aren't here. I'll tell you what they are. And then we also serve the college level. We've started one in Montclair, and I'll tell you about that. So that's where we spend most of our time. And the second piece is having the youth work with us on projects. So basically it's hand in hand on a lot of the sweat equity kinds of projects where both we and they feel good about it. So getting something accomplished is helping somebody else. And the principle is that if we keep doing that year after year, that a lot of these young people will start to establish the values and the character that it takes to want to have community service and to help other people. So that's basically the premise. So within Kiwanis, the most important thing we do is the Key Club. So in New Jersey, we're pretty successful. We have 150 Key Clubs in New Jersey, which is about 10,500 members. And so it's a pretty vigorous organization, and it's growing. We also have a club at the middle level, in this case 7 and 8, and at the primary level, which is 3, 4, and 5, which is 5, 6, and 7. We're trying to get a little more focused at that lower level. So in Glen Ridge, so we, like I said, we support the 3 club levels. Key Club in the high school, what was formerly the middle school, 7th and 8th, and then the primary. So we support those 3 levels. And the Key Club, as I just told you, has basically 10,000 in New Jersey, so it's really vigorous. What is important about the clubs is the students have their own projects. So when they plan their own projects, they're going to start to develop those skills of all the soft skills, the skills of organizing, all the skills of planning, working together as a team, and of leadership. And so the simple aspect of having them develop those skills by developing your own projects is important. And the second piece is that now they're working with us. So this year, as you know, Kiwanis, we have a lot of projects to do in the paper. So we do a collection drive twice a year. They work with us. We do it, we hand out the directory. They get territories and routes and will work with us to do it. We've run fundraisers in town. The fundraisers are for scholarships, mostly scholarships for the children and family with neonatal tetanus. So they work with us to try to get that done. And so we're basically 6 to 8 projects a year. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. And so for us, to sort of conclude before I ask Miles to come up, this is our 60th year. So what we want to do is use that year to start to grow more service to our youth. And so this year and next year, we're going to start focusing on how do we increase more of the services that we do to youth. And so a big part of our reason here is that we don't see what you see. So we're hoping that by telling you what we do, letting you know how important the Key Club is to us, and that we're trying to grow the other 2 clubs in the 7th and 8th and 4, 5, 6. You can see that. So as you see opportunities for us to do more, let us know. And when we're going to hand out a package to you at the end of the night, you're going to see my business card on that package, which has my phone number on that package, so that if any of you have some thoughts, some ideas, call me. I live here in town. I'm one of the professors at Montclair State, so I'm back and forth between here and Montclair frequently. I tutor a lot of my students here in town as well as in Montclair, so I'm here a lot. And I can meet anyone basically anywhere, almost any time, except Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. So I teach. So can each of you introduce yourselves, and then I want Miles to tell you a little bit about the projects they're doing here in high school. So Miles, want to start?
Okay, so my name is Miles Platt. I'm currently a senior at Glenridge High School, and I am current president of our high school's Key Club.
I'm Grace Pizzini. I'm in 10th grade, and I am a staff member of our Key Club.
And what do you do in Key Club? What's your focus?
I mainly help with creating our volunteer events to help people.
My name is Isabella Luigi. I'm also a member of Key Club. I'm a junior, and I am the leader of 2 committees. I'm the leader of the Animal Shelter Committee and the Food Drive.
So Miles, why don't you come over here so everyone can see you? This way you can face the board and the people and tell them what you do.
Okay, so this year I think we've accomplished a lot of different things, and it's really all thanks to our great Key Club, our great Key Club representatives, our officers, and also Mr. Levine. I can't forget about him because he's what makes everything possible. This year we've completed a lot of different things, as I've said. But one of the first things that we've done was we've sent Halloween candy to some troops abroad to assist also with, feeding them and helping them out. That was actually piloted by one of our, I believe, freshman Key Club members. One of the things that I'm proud of and I actually helped work with was working with the Foundation for Peace, which is a program that has people volunteer as doctors, almost like Doctors Without Borders, to go to places such as Haiti or the Dominican Republic where they desperately need these kinds of hygiene products. So, in conjunction with that, I worked as an ambassador for us to donate different hygienic products such as toothbrushes, toothpaste, washcloths, and ultimately get it shipped over to Haiti so we can also ultimately assist with that. Another thing we've done as a yearly event, independent of Kiwanis, is we've done many visits to the Green Hill Nursing Home, which, if you don't know, is a nursing home located out in I believe, between Verona and West Orange, where we plan activities with the elderly, and they really enjoy it. And I've enjoyed it so much that I've planned actually to become a volunteer during my senior field experience over there at the Green Hill Nursing Home. And that's always a very successful event every year. Now, in the future, we're also planning to do a lot of different things because Key Club is something that is an ongoing part of our school. It's an ongoing activity. So one of the things that I've planned and I'm going to talk about tomorrow's Key Club meeting, is a school-wide canned food drive. This is something that we've done last year, bringing it back again because it was really successful. So, if any of you go to this school, or you're familiar with the school, you'll probably start to see posters that I've hung up around the school that say, we want your canned goods. And basically what this is it's donating to our community project, our service project, which is Fighting Hunger in New Jersey. And hopefully we can get a lot of canned goods and ship them off to these people, because a lot of people, believe it or not, in New Jersey are living below the poverty line. And in kind of that whole realm of different projects, we've also done a lot of things such as soup kitchen events, which I've organized, and I'm hoping to plan another one, and just general clothing drives, as Mr. Monticelli here mentioned with the Kiwanis. But otherwise, we've had a really busy year, and it's really all thanks to the students and all the staff that support us. Because really, Key Club, it is a student-run club. Students have the opportunity to voice their concerns and advertise different potential projects for us to complete. And with the help of Kiwanis and with the help of everyone in the community, we can make these projects a success. Would you like to come and talk about some of the other things that?
So one of the big events that we did recently was the food drive at King's for the Community Food Bank and Foundation for Peace. And so we collected an astounding number of canned goods and other great food products from our food drive. And I actually work with the Community Food Bank in my spare time with my family, so I really get to see how far this food goes to help people.
Like I mentioned earlier, I am the leader of the Animal Shelter Committee, and right now I'm working on a project to kind of get the students more involved there. So right now I'm trying to work on logistics with waivers and ages and who can go and volunteer their time, but I'm trying to create a longer program that can last long after I graduate, where some people can go to the animal shelter and maybe a few times a week, get experience with.
So yeah, it's Key Club is just something that is part of our school, and it's such a great club to be part of, and I'm glad that I'm here tonight to promote all the great things we do for this community and also the world, as you saw. Thank you.
So anecdotally, I told you I'm a professor at Montclair State. I've been teaching there for 16 years. I spend a lot of time trying to teach analytical thinking and soft skills. And I would like to bring some of the students who you have taught to my classes as an example. So that's how good a job you're doing and how good a job these kids are and how proud we are. So
Thank you. It's always good to hear from students.
So we have a little gift for you, which is reading, just what you need or don't need. So each take a
Always
packet.
welcome reading.
There's only one bad thing about this packet. There's a flyer in there that they put my picture on, so just so ignore that. And the rest of it is really great.
It will help us remember you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now we will go on with the superintendent's report. And I know that probably you have places to go. You're welcome to stay if you want, but we know that there's homework and other things that need to be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. The first thing I want to mention is on the agenda for BOE approval tonight is the retirement of Vinny Tipanero. Vinny Tipanero is a photographer, teacher, and yearbook teacher in the school. Just to give you an idea of how long he's been in district, he started teaching a few days before I was born. So he's been in the district for over 51 years. He is still on the top of his game. He is loved by the students and staff. Frequently goes to student events. He's the true historian of this building, being that he's been here so long, but also because of him putting the yearbook together every year and getting a deeper understanding of every graduating class, activities that they're involved, working with them closely to fundraise for a fantastic yearbook. Someone like Mr. Tipanelli, you just don't replace. He's going to be a big loss to us. But we want to wish him the best, and hopefully the last few months of his professional career, he's thoroughly going to enjoy it.
And the yearbook will be great this year.
Construction update. Next few weeks, we have several bid openings that will happen that are related to the HVAC project and a window replacement project at Central School. As far as Central School is going, the construction is moving forward in a fashion that we are very happy with. They are working on some ductwork, they're starting to frame out some of the classrooms, some trench work for some of the plumbing that needs to be done at Central. We started talking about a little bit more of the fun stuff, furniture, scheme, and the playground. So we're getting to that point. We're getting into more of the little detail things than the construction aspects, and that's a sign that we're moving forward. The last thing I want to discuss tonight is just where we are with our school safety update. Just to give you an idea, this is my 4th year as superintendent. I did come in and replace the old school security system with a new one. So we're looking at a system that's roughly about 3 years old, but in today's modern world, technology goes fast, and our need to upgrade also has to happen more frequently than it did in the past. And so every year we did address, and we continue to address, security and safety issues, whether it's looking at hardening our facilities, as they call it, of really making them more secure, or from changing protocols, practices, something as simple as if you walk into school buildings now, staff members wearing lanyards, and you're able to identify staff members very quickly. Those are school safety procedures and protocols. The teachers are trained every year. It's constantly a topic in administrative meetings, and when things occur that maybe that makes us revisit protocols or have an administrative meeting, review them, and make the necessary changes to improve the situation. As far as since our last meeting, just we were able to get a lot accomplished in the last 2 weeks, and again, part of that is just because we had already started the process prior to any incidents happening, which occurred in January, the first incident. We have reviewed and revised certain procedures and protocols in the buildings. We've retrained the staff. That has been done at a building level. And we also had an all-staff, and by all staff, we're talking custodians, paras, teachers, administrators. We invited the police to join us. We had an all-staff meeting that our consultants did some training for them. We made some equipment upgrade at Forest and Linden. We made some equipment adjustments in the other buildings. One of the things that was requested at our last board meeting was for us to increase our notification to parents. You probably received a few emails just notifying you when we have shelter in place in other buildings that they did occur and why they occurred. I ended up following that up. I actually had to explain what a shelter in place is, just because some parents weren't familiar with that term. I'm organizing a public school safety meeting that will be on Tuesday, March 12th. The police will be involved in that meeting along with our consultants, and they're explaining what they've done and some of the recommendations that they've made. The issue sometimes with school security, everyone wants to know everything, but when you start looking at what we have in the building and the protocols in place, They're kept confidential just because we need our building to be as secure as possible. We don't make every procedure and every improvement known to the public. I've had a lot of meetings with various groups. The administrators I've met several times to discuss changes and discuss plans moving forward based on some of the recommendations that we were expecting from our consultants. We've met with police. I've met with teachers. I'm going to continue to meet with different groups of teachers. We've had the all-staff building meetings. The Board of Ed Facility Committee discussed our school safety plans. Met with a couple of vendors. I have a couple of vendors I'm meeting with tomorrow also. So again, those were things that we had in place already, that we were starting to evaluate different items for our buildings. It was easier for us to have those meetings because they were already scheduled. And again, we were working with our consultants. We heard recommendations from them on Friday. At this point, we're looking to start prioritizing those recommendations, getting estimates on costs, starting to vet some of the vendors and look at the different products that are out there. So there's a lot going on, but we know security is an ongoing topic. We know there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it's going to be a process. It's important that we have a long-term plan and making sure that whatever we're doing is a right fit for us, and that we're not piecemealing things together and end up having a less efficient system that's costing us more money because we end up replacing systems that weren't of value to us.
Okay. Anything else for superintendent's report?
That's it.
Okay, now we've come to the first public comment period of the evening for questions or comments on agenda items only. If you have a question or comment, please raise your hand. I will recognize you, let me know that you're a Glenridge resident, and then tell us what's on your mind. Mrs. Sala.
Yeah, were you able to find out why that person stated they were wandering around Ridgewood Avenue School?
I asked the police said the gentleman was unable to give a clear answer.
Okay. And then the other question is, I thought you could introduce the
I'm sorry.
person.
Some of you know Dana Cornell, who is one of our board attorneys. I'd like to introduce Jeff Marlino, who is another of our board attorneys. He is here in the absence tonight of Ms. Cornell. So that is who he is. Other questions or comments from the audience? All right, there is another public comment period at the end of the meeting. Now, going on. It is the first meeting of the month, so, but it is very early in the month, so we may not all have our committee and liaison reports, but let's start on the end. Michael?
I have not yet gone through the curriculum committee. I did meet with, I went to the GRUMPA meeting, which Music Arts Association meeting a couple of weeks ago. They talked about logistics, about the fruit delivery, the breakfast, and the trip to Ireland. Very well. They're going to come and present for this.
And the trip to Ireland coming up, yes, St. Patrick's Day.
Thursday.
So does that displace this year's pancake breakfast?
No, they're ready to first.
Get ready to do that? Okay. Heather?
Sure. Lynn Women's School met last in January. They talked about, they had unconscious or implicit bias training that went very well. They're replacing the science fair with an international festival this year. And they're going to be doing the Abilities Awareness Week that Forrest did last year. They're going to be doing what Lynn did. They had a number of fundraising programs that well. They had Fall Discovery, Second Promotion is doing well, and Picture Day as well. There are going to be a number of open positions on the Women's School Board next year, so if people are interested in that, those are coming up. Upcoming events, they're going to have a yoga assembly. Well, they already had it. It was the beginning of February, and the Valentine's baskets has already passed as well. And there was a visiting author day with Megan McCarthy at the end of February. Community service did holiday gift cards. We talked about maybe different ways to handle that. It didn't go as well as they hoped. Socials, they're talking about having a Forest Linden social, perhaps sometime in May. They sold spiritware at the Wicked concert, that went well, and we're starting to look at some new inventory for upcoming events. The second grade promotion had a great fundraiser in November, and they have their movie night at the beginning of February, March 2. And their next meeting is this Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Anthony?
I reached out to the Glen Ridge Athletic Association. I have not gotten back their schedule yet, so I will reach out again. I'm not sure how frequently they have meetings, but I will get on their agenda.
I get the feeling it's not terribly frequent, but
Not
we will
terrible.
find out.
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes, the Glen Ridge Educational Foundation meeting on February 12th was postponed due to terrible weather. So, and as far as I know, that has not been rescheduled. Is it next Tuesday? Which will I did not know that. Tomorrow night, Grace is co-sponsoring a presentation with the Bloomfield CPAC. It will be held at the Bloomfield High School Media Center at 6 p.m. And the title of the presentation is How to Prepare for an Annual IEP Meeting. And it will be presented by Means and Winger. And they will be having another meeting on March 20th as well. That's it for me.
Paul, anything?
Yep, the Facilities and Finance Committee has been keeping itself very busy of late, addressing some of the issues the superintendent has already described, agency security improvements. Both those have been ongoing, and those have been suggested by members of the public of late, as well as our construction projects. For those of you who pass by Central these days, you can see it's making progress. It's really taking form. I'm optimistic it may very well be on schedule, which will be an accomplishment. And then, of course, it's the time of year when we're preparing the preliminary budget, which you'll be hearing more about next meeting. And so we are trying to collect all the information that would inform that budget at this time. One of those items is a challenge for our district and most districts, and not most employers, is healthcare specifically. Generally speaking, if you go over to negotiate those insurance policies for the district, so we see savings.
Okay, thank you. David?
As the new liaison to the Gaslamp players, I want to go through some dates. They put on Les Miserables about a month ago, and for those of you who were there, you saw a very large crowd and a great performance. I think they broke some of their own box office records, and for those who didn't go, you missed out. First and second graders are doing Aladdin on April 6th at 1 p.m., and then third and fourth graders are doing Aladdin on the same day at 3 p.m. And then there are Glee shows on the 26th of April, May 3rd, and then at the Eco Fair again this year on May 11th. The cabaret, which is the high school Glee from, I think, 8th grade up, is performing in New York City at a theater on May 18th. I'll remind everyone of those dates at our next meeting again.
Ally?
We do a brief review of the high school home and school meeting, which was held on Thursday, February 21st. Briefly, Mr. Lawler discussed in-depth security, new assessment and graduation requirements, and the high school's move from quarterlies to midterms next year. Dr. Harris touched on the middle school community read, which is a book called 11, and a corresponding trip to the 9/11 Museum in New York City. She also touched on plans to pull together an 8th grade extravaganza to wrap up their middle school experience. Ms. Landgraber spoke about MAC and peer leadership, and the scheduling meetings with the 8th graders as far as heading into the high school. Scheduling meetings are also happening with the high schoolers to put together the schedule for next year at the high school. Spring sports season has begun. The upcoming Arts Festival was touched on, and also the creation or organized SAT and ACT classes at the home school, organized for students in sophomore and junior years, for standardized tests. And that's it.
Teresa?
So at Forest Avenue, we have our meeting on this Wednesday, so I'll get an update, but they've been very busy. They've had, in the past couple of months, an international fair that was very successful, and it engaged the whole school. The windows, we understand, are doing very nicely to make the temperature in the school warm when it's cold outside. They had a pancake breakfast that was very successful. They have a terrific fundraising program. They provided Chromebooks to the school. There was a request for additional Chromebooks that was donated to the school. They had a Read Across America that I missed on Friday that I'm sure was very successful. Kids are always enjoy Dr. Seuss and reading. And they had the visiting author as well. And they also had glow dance in the meantime. But I'll have one of those great activities.
Thank you. Okay, we have in our packets minutes from February 11th, 2019, both exec session and regular session meetings. Does anyone have any changes to those minutes? No? Okay, David, would you move the minutes?
I move M1.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second from Paul. Last minute for any discussion? No? Barbara, when you're ready.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Ms. Boyle Bellucci? Aye. Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. DeLue?
Aye.
Ms. Lang?
Aye.
Mr. Romano?
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubert?
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Michael, would you move the administrative?
Shall move A1 through A5.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion of the administrative items, which include policy updates, guide for standard operating procedures, and insurance brokers of record? Any discussion? Okay, Barbara, are you ready?
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Ms. Boyle Bellucci? Aye. Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. DeLue?
Aye.
Ms. Lang? Aye. Mr. Romano?
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubert?
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Tracy, would you move the personnel items?
Yes, I move P1 through P10, which includes the items on the agenda for P1, P3, and
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ally. In keeping with our rules, personnel-related items are discussed in executive session. Barbara, please.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Ms. Boyle Bellucci? Aye. Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. DeLue?
Aye.
Ms. Lang?
Aye.
Mr. Romano?
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubert?
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Michael, curriculum, numerous field trips.
Yes, I move C1 and all experience parts.
May I have a second? Second from Heather. Any discussion on any of these field trips? You heard us mention the band trip to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. That was approved some time ago, so they could start their fundraising, but they will be off. Okay, Barbara, we call roll.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Ms. Boyle Bellucci? Aye. Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. DeLue?
Aye.
Ms. Lang? Mr. Romano?
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubert?
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Before we move the business items, I would like to draw your attention to B4 on your agenda, which is donations. We accept with thanks the donation of Ellison die cups valued at about $1,000 from the Linden Avenue Home and School. We're All Wonders children's books valued at $227 from the Linden Avenue Home and School also. An LK water station for the basement from Linden Avenue Home and School. And a defibrillator from the NFHS Foundation for Leverage High School Athletics. So thank you to all those generous donors. And now, Paul, would you move the business items?
I'd like to move items B1 through B11, including the addendum.
Okay, may I have a second? Second from, oh, Yes?
For B11, I was curious how much what percent the childcare costs were going up?
Barbara, can you?
Exact percent?
We've combined days a little bit, so it's hard to say like the percent. When you had a choice between one, so now you either choose the tier 1, which is 1 to 2 days. So if you look percentage-wise, I'm not sure overall.
4 to 7%.
And there are also enhancements to Rapid Yes.
Correct. We've been running a lot of programs the last year or so. Want to continue.
I'm sorry,
No, it's like a fifth of what it was last time. She asked if it was more than usual.
Oh, okay.
I think last time it was 20. I don't recall, but it's difficult to compare because the business administrators actually made some great improvements to the process by kind of simplifying the fee structure and also providing the opportunity to automate the payment against those. So it's not a one-for-one relationship. But as is true always of the preschool program, every effort to move forward on this basis. Right? It's not a revenue opportunity for us. We're simply accommodating the costs.
We did some comparative to other surrounding districts, and our rates are much lower than those surrounding us.
Do we offer schools? Yeah.
What?
Offers much of Baker? I mean, because when Mike was on, there wasn't much going on at aftercare.
Well, and that's why it's happened over the last couple of years. They've been offering more and more programs. But
So the
we just want to make sure they're not stepping on the discovery programs also, so we're very cognizant of what they're offering.
Other questions? Anthony, did you have a question?
No,
Oh.
so,
Just wanted to make sure.
I was just commenting that there is an increase in offerings for the students that participate as opposed to years past.
Okay, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Ms. Boyle? Aye. Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. DeLue? Ms. Lang?
Aye.
Mr. Romano?
Aye.
Ms. St. Auburn? Dr. Yaris Ramos? Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We've now arrived at the second public comment period for questions on agenda or other items. Does anyone have a question or a comment? Yes, Mrs. Song.
The last item, B10, appointment of contract with Mr. James E. Esquire to provide special legal counsel related to subpoena for student records. Can you give us more information on that? Are you being subpoenaed or are you subpoenaing something? I don't know how to subpoena somebody else for that. Is this for all students or a select group of students?
We're hiring an attorney. We generally do not, in keeping with our rules, cannot discuss legal matters in public session.
I have a follow-up question to
Yes.
that. Does anybody on this board or sitting at this table for that matter have any personal, professional, previous or current contact with that law firm? Financial, otherwise, friendships, et cetera?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments on agenda or other items? Yes.
Harris Turan, I have students in the district. Also on the same topic, are you stating that you're not going to comment on whether or not you're being subpoenaed as the board because you're hiring an attorney about a subpoena? So is there currently a subpoena on any individual member or the board that you're hiring a new lawyer?
Because there's an ongoing legal matter, we cannot comment on that.
In any way, shape, or form, you're not going to comment on anything?
It's in the minutes.
But you're approving a new lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer, to represent the Board of Education?
So we can make that representation that this is not an education law matter, it's a criminal matter. Separate counsel is being hired, was hired tonight, but that's as much as we can comment on. It's an ongoing legal matter.
But it's a criminal matter.
It's not education law.
He's listed online as a criminal defense attorney.
What kind of law is it if it's not educational law?
I think we've said that. It's a criminal attorney.
It's a criminal attorney. And is he representing the whole board or individual members or individual members of the school? Okay.
Other questions or comments? Yes, Mrs. Song.
You mentioned that March 12th was going to be the security meeting for
Yes.
the town. Given that that's a week away or so, I would suggest that you publicize, advertise that quickly so that people don't feel like they're finding out about
Something
it
went out last
We
week.
sent out a save the date already and we'll
Oh,
send
I
out.
didn't see a save
Yes,
the
we
date.
did.
I
We
saw
did
it.
say do a
I
save
saw
the
a
date.
thing that said, we're gonna have it, but I didn't see a date.
Save the date went out last week.
There was the big
And
letter.
I'll send something out this week and beginning of
Great.
next week.
There was a large letter that sort of detailed all the security, and then there was a separate save the date. Other questions or comments? Yes, Mrs. Sullivan.
Is it correct that Mr. Newsy represented one of the Glen Ridge rape defendants at one time?
Yes, 40 years ago.
Or 30?
1989 was the Glenridge case. Other questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Trump.
On B10A, do you have any other further information about the $391,000 that you all just approved to spend? Do you have any data about the ESS solutions? How many, for that money, how many staff members we're getting? How many students are part of the program? Any type of security protocol with students in that program? Or any type of data that goes along with students and that program?
So we will write down those questions and then we'll get back to you.
Is that a legal question, or am I talking to the
That's-
board? Am I talking to the lawyer, or am I talking to my board of
You just asked
representatives?
Detailed information about.
Excuse me, I didn't ask you that question, I asked the board that
Mr. Trump,
question.
That's not.
If they want you to answer it, she can say that.
Our
But I
attorney is-
asked the board the
Our attorney is
question.
authorized to speak for the board. Any other questions or
But
comments?
wait, he
Oh,
didn't
I'm
finish
sorry.
answering.
You'd be happy to get back to you with that information.
In what regard? How are you going to get back to just individually me, or the people of the town? Or what information are you going to get back to me with?
You asked detailed questions that in this forum we would not expect or be expected to have those answers tonight.
But you just voted to spend $391,000 before your budget meetings, and you don't have the answers to the questions. You just voted to approve it.
We didn't say we do not have answers. We said we will not discuss legal matters in public session.
That's not a legal question. This is about a program that you just voted to renew their contract for next year already, without any data of success this year that's ongoing, or providing what we get for that money, how many professionals, what type of professionals, how many students are impacted by that. But you've already voted to spend that money without, and he wants to get back to me.
Harris, do you think we're sitting here with all that information right here?
I would hope so, David, because, excuse me,
Do you know how big this is?
excuse me, David asked me,
You asked a
One voice at a
question,
time. One
now
voice
let
at
us
a time.
answer.
no, you asked me a question directly, so let
You
me
see
answer.
all of the
I think
agenda
you
items?
should
One voice
know
at a
those
time.
You can't sit
answers
with a stack
before
of
voting
paper
on it.
Every contract we approved. You didn't ask about the field trips. We have a lot
I
of data
read
about
through all the field
We
trips,
just
sir,
didn't bring them
beforehand,
here to the
because
meeting
the
with
field
us.
trip
So you
notices,
asked for questions, you
David.
asked for information that we're not sitting here with as we speak.
Mr. Campbell,
So we will
the
get it
field
for you,
trip
and we will give
information
it to you.
is online. I
would
looked
like
at
to,
all of them,
defer to
all
our
that
superintendent.
information about where they're going,
And the
with how many
contract is sitting in
students.
the board
Excuse me,
office.
may I talk?
One at a
Yeah,
time.
raise your
One at a
hand,
time. One at a
identify
time,
yourself, and mention that you're a resident of the town.
Mr. Campbell, my name is Harris Turan. My son is in your daughter's class, and you're my class parent, okay? You know who I am.
Yeah, I
I'm just
think,
telling you what
Show
you
me
have to
some
do.
respect,
When
sir.
you raise your hand, you say your name and that you're a resident of the town.
My name is
Mr.
Harris
Turan.
Turan, and I'm a resident of Glenridge, New Jersey, with students in the school system. Is that okay for you?
that is fine for all of us, Mr. Tran.
Can I finish talking to Mr. Campbell, because
We
he
do not
addressed
speak-
me directly?
We do not, that is not our board procedure.
You can talk
This
I don't
is-
want to talk to you after. I want to talk to
You
you
are
on the
speaking-
record
you are speaking to
because
the
you're
entire
on the
board.
board and you made statements about, do I know information about the field trips? Yes, because that information is on your information on your website. So I was able to look based on what you have here, and I looked at all the field trips, which teachers are going, how much it's going to cost, how much the bus is going to cost. That information's there, and you voted on it, and I didn't need to ask about it because the information's there. You voted, and that's peanuts. You voted on a contract for $400,000, and you're telling me that you don't have any information about that contract.
We said we
Right,
don't have it
sitting
at
right
this time.
here, we don't.
But didn't you
Sitting
talk
right
about that before you voted for $400,000?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for 2 weeks.
So what's the, so I'm asking you for that information.
And it's sitting in the board office, and we'll get it for you. And thanks for asking.
Jeff, could you address this, please?
Unless,
Yeah, I can answer some of your questions. We have 3 full-time staff members that ESS provides. They service 27 students, and as far as progress of them, they do provide us monthly reports on the progress of those students.
Mrs. Sally, sorry.
I have asked questions in the past about expenditures, both large and small, that I haven't been able to get answers to during a public meeting, that it surprised me that, upon recommendation of the superintendent, you're voting for this or that. Some were bigger, some were smaller, but I think it would be helpful for things that are at least on the agenda, that there was some modicum of information shared. Again, that speaks to transparency and people's interest, and also, frankly, sunshine laws and that type of thing, we're entitled to have that kind of information. The other question I had is for this gentleman, are you with Sierra Cornell?
We don't ask questions, we do not ask questions to individual members of the board, we ask questions to the whole board.
Could you just identify what firm counsel is with?
Yes, please.
He is with Scarillo Cornell, our board attorneys of record.
Thank you.
Yes.
And what is his name again, please?
Jeffrey, spelled with a J, Jeffrey R. Merlino, Merlino. Okay, I saw another question, yes.
Hi, Michelle Militello, 7 Terrace. 2 things. One, I did just want to acknowledge, I was here a couple weeks ago about the safety stuff. I do appreciate the emails that have come out. Seems like a lot of work is being done. I do want to acknowledge that and appreciate that. I know you don't get a lot of positivity, but here we are. The second thing that I want to ask is, I don't even know what Effective School Solutions is. Can somebody just describe what it is for those of us in the room that don't even know what it is?
Yeah, it's students who need more of a therapeutic setting. Those students have group counseling every day, and then they have individual counseling once or twice a week.
But does that take place at all 4 schools?
It takes place at the high school and at Ridgewood Avenue School. It's a new program this year at Ridgewood Avenue School.
This was the first year?
This is the first year.
For Ridgewood.
For Ridgewood Avenue School.
The high school.
We've had the high school for, I believe, 7 years.
And are those students in mainstream classes?
I'm sorry, Mr. Tron. Yes, Mr. Tron. I'm sorry, I just didn't hear you.
My name is Harris Turan. I live in Glenridge. My children are students. Is that okay, Mr. Campbell? Should I do it for every question, sir?
Mr. Tron, what is your question? What
You
is
just
your
have to say
question?
you're a resident of Glenridge.
For every question?
Let us know,
No,
let us
am
know
I
your
good now?
question, Mr. Tron, please.
I'm not, sir.
Mr. Tron, please.
He engaged me,
this is not-
sir.
This is not a question and answer.
This is a Board of Education meeting. This is the time to get information. Can I ask my question?
This is really
Yes,
not
please.
how this process is supposed to work. If you have a comment or a question, just raise your hand, wait till somebody before you is done, and that there's no, you're not speaking over somebody.
Sure.
Then raise your hand, and then wait for the board president to introduce you.
Mr. Tron, please.
The students that are part of the ESS program who are in a therapeutic setting in the school, do they also attend classes with the other students in the school, or are they only in classes with the therapeutic students?
No, they attend regular ed classes during the day.
And are the teachers trained?
Go ahead, Mr. Tron, please.
Are the teachers trained specifically to deal with threats from therapeutic students in the classroom outside of these ESS? You said there's 3 professionals, I don't know of what type, so I'm guessing one, I'm not going to guess. Could you tell me what schools they're in?
There's 2 of them, ESS staff members in high school and one in Ridgewood Avenue School.
And if a student is in a class, is there an ESS representative with that student in the class at all times?
No.
Are,
We have 18 students and 2 staff members, that wouldn't be possible.
and
Or
are
ESS.
teachers specifically trained to deal with therapeutic students?
The teachers are trained to deal with a wide variety of students.
Are they specifically trained to deal with therapeutic students that you're keeping in school through a program to deal with issues that might be beyond what regular teachers go to school for?
Teachers are trained to deal with the issues that the students have.
Therapeutic students.
There's a lot of different reasons why the students are in those classes.
Mr. Phillips, I'm asking a pretty simple.
I'm
Are
not
the
gonna give-
teachers trained in any specific way to deal with therapeutic students or threats in the classroom if an ESS member is not in the classroom?
Teachers are trained to deal with the student issues and the students in the classroom.
Thank you. Mrs. Sell.
Yeah, you said, we should address questions to the board, not a specific person, but I think we need to jump back and say, we've never had an attorney, we've had one embed herself back there, but we've never had your board attorney, join you up here and apparently be answering questions. So of course, it's logical for people to direct follow-up questions to them. My question is, why do you all feel the need to have your attorney run a board meeting for you?
He's not running the board meeting,
Okay,
I'm running the board
participate.
meeting.
Participate.
We have in the past, and my experience goes back quite a ways, there have been times when we've had the attorney sit up here with us. Mr. Molino, in fact, has done it. Mr. Scarillo has done it. I don't, Ms. Cornell likes to sit in the audience. I have no idea why. But no, from time to time, the board has needs for our attorney, and some boards, in fact, many boards in the state of New Jersey have a board attorney there for every single meeting, and he sits with the board. So it is a matter of personal preference for the attorney. Mr. Tron.
I have a question for the board in regards, if a board member is an attorney, are they bringing any of their own legal opinions to the board, or are they relying on all legal advice from board counsel and not bringing their legal mind into practice in board meetings and decisions?
Well, we all bring our minds into practice in board meetings.
Correct, but
We
you're...
are not, one moment, we are not elected to be a lawyer on the board or a teacher on the board. We are elected to be representatives of the people of Glenridge. We all come to the board, just as everyone comes to the board meeting, with our individual backgrounds, our experience, our knowledge, but Mr. DeLue, Mr. Campbell, Ms. Beloyo-Bellucci, they are not hired to be board attorneys. So we rely, and they do not specialize, in fact, in education law, which Mr. Morlino does.
Correct.
So,
But I'm asking, are they bringing any of their legal opinions to the board? Are any opinions that they're bringing to the board legal opinions based on their professional status? Are they doing any work on the board in a legal manner?
No.
That's not to say that we don't bring, obviously.
You always bring value, counsel. I'm not trying to diminish. I'm trying to separate
I'm not saying that. What
SU.
I'm saying is, you can't, it's really impossible to compartmentalize. I mean, I see legal issues like.
Right, but when you're giving your advice to the board, are you giving your legal advice to the
I'm not
board,
giving
or are
my
you giving
legal
your
advice.
residential advice to the board?
I have opinion, but I'm not giving legal advice to the board.
And you're going with whatever the board lawyer goes with, that's they're representing you and their opinion is what your opinion is.
No, that's not correct. Good clients and good lawyers discuss things. And so if you're in engineering and you have a lawyer who's representing you about an engineering matter, it's going to be a give and take, and there's going to be understanding that goes on both sides. So the fact is, Mr. Nino knows so much more about educational law than I do, but I know a lot about law. And
I read about that. I read that you know a lot about the law.
So we have discussions, and Mr. Campbell, we all have discussions because we're lawyers, but we're not experts in education law. Although,
But the final opinion is counsel's opinion.
no. Again, that's a counsel's opinion is something that happens in the attorney-client process. So ultimately, we don't blindly defer to anybody.
I'm not saying blindly, but I'm saying the final, what he says in the end is what your opinion as a board is. Because the lawyer's speaking for you, is that correct?
Which we arrive at after attorney-client discussion.
Correct, but his word is what
Well, it
he's.
depends on what you mean. His word, if we ultimately have something in brief, then yes, he's representing us, that is our position and his position.
He represented that you will not speak about any pending litigation or subpoenas or anything like that.
That is correct.
So are you representing that he is speaking for you all in regard to that? That's the opinion of the
That's
board?
right. We don't discuss ongoing legal matters.
I understand that, but I'm saying, is he saying that for the board or are you telling me that?
Well, in this instance, both. I just said it, you said it earlier.
So I'm trying to figure out who speaks for you all.
In matters relating to legal, he is our counsel. So he speaks for us, but we have an attorney-client relationship.
Correct.
By which we arrive at what Mr. Merlino will say. As you say, every attorney-client relationship hopefully has some back and forth, which we do. Mrs. Sawa, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
I did. I just wanted to follow up on the discussion about treatment and respect and mutual treatment of people, both by the board and by the audience. And as somebody who tried to read an HIB appeal to the board and had Mr. Campbell wave his phone with a stopwatch at me as I desperately tried to read about my daughter, and as somebody who's had him scream out the front door at the high school after he followed me one night, I think you ought to consider the board's behavior as well as the citizens.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Okay, that being said, the board will now, the public portion of our meeting is over. The board will now adjourn to a brief executive session. May I have a motion to adjourn to exec session? Moved by Michael, second? No action following. So there was no action following the exec session. So the public portion of the meeting is finished. Thank you all.